Hey everybody, January 7th or 8th or 9th or something like that, 2022. Uh, one day closer to Christmas, just to let you know. Uh, Craig Massey here. You can call me Akai. You can call me One, or you can call me Brother. You can call me the pink banana hammock wearing guy. Really, I don't care what you call me. But I'm trying something different today, and I know the lighting's not good and the camera quality's not perfect, and I don't even know how the sound is going to turn out. Um, but this is just another one of my prelims for my future TEDx speaking, which I hope finds a way to allow you to see the positive in just about anything. You know, Growing up on a farm in Saskatchewan, Canada, I was taught at a very young age if I wanted to ride anything or use anything and I broke it, I had to learn how to fix it myself. And so I've considered myself to be a rather handy person. I've brought engines back from the dead. I've rebuilt a few of them, and I've tried to fix some that I couldn't fix. And after I was done trying to fix with them, there's nobody in the world that could fix it because when I'm done trying, it's pretty much done. And one thing that I've learned over the course of my 20 plus year hobby mechanic career is I usually have a lot of extra parts left over. And sometimes it's concerned me. There has been tires that have fallen off, and there's been transmissions that have piled up and things like that. But by and large, most of the time, they were overkill parts. And I've always kind of been addicted to adrenaline and the speed and the rush, and I typically have driven everything that I've owned as fast as it could go, until it either blows up or I crash something. And that's a mistake, perhaps. As I've gotten older, I like crashing a lot less. But one of my mentalities has always been that, when I fix something, the leftover parts, by default, reduce the weight. And a reduction in weight in and of itself typically allows for an increase in speed, right? So it's all good. Now, there's other times where I have put in high performance parts. I've actually added weight to an engine or a vehicle, and again, it's a high performance part, and it added to speed or power. So today, as I woke up, laying in a bed of sweat and not feeling like $1,000,000, I was given finally some wording on a diagnosis that crumples a lot of people, and it scares a lot of the world. And it's something that has been flirting with my life for over 25 years. And I chose to ignore the diagnosis 25 years ago when it was first made. I went to traditional Chinese medicine, and I found success with that, and it worked for me for quite some time. This time here in my 44th year on this planet, but my first year as a born again, and this is not my first rebirth. I've been born again a few times. I'm a revenant for sure. But I thought to myself, okay, that's cool. Now I know. And it was actually a relief. And the prognosis and the outcome by the professionals' opinion has yet to be made. Yet as soon as I was given the diagnosis, I said to myself, cool. Now I know where to focus my energy. Now I know what cells I'm going to attack with my meditation. Now I know what areas of the body where I'm going to put my attention to. And I'm going to give these cells the ultimatum. You're either going to join the rest of your brethren and vibrate and manifest and grow, or die or shed, whatever it is, the way the majority of them are, or you're going to get your ass kicked in a battle. So I'm going to give these cells the ultimatum to change their path, or they're going to get the BS kicked out of them, right out of my body. That's the way it's going to happen. Now, later in the day, the doctor came in and started talking about some more results, and the surgery word was mentioned, and it's not coming at one of the more ideal times for me. I have you know a rather unique situation. I've had my house stolen from by squatters, as well as everything worth over 5 cents in the house, um, as they stole it and sold it for drug money. And I've been on the streets for 6 weeks because they've been trying to kill me, basically. And I thought, surgery, eh? I got a I got $1 million deal on the line right now, with no resources, no vehicle, and no money. And I've been in here for I don't know how many days now, quite a few. Um, and I thought, hmm, maybe this is just like working on a car. They're either going to cut something out of me and it's going to make me lighter and faster, or they're going to add some extra parts and they're going to be high performance parts. So, one way or the other, I'm coming out of this place faster than I would be had I not been in here. And when you start to look at things that way and you see the upside in everything, and there is an upside in everything, I tell you. Death in itself, it has an upside. For a lot of people, it's the end of pain, it's the end of suffering. And it's the beginning of a new chapter for those that love them or care for them or work for them. You can begin to release your fear and your anxiety and the negativity that is holding you back from manifesting your true potential, your ideal version of yourself, and your utopia, a state of joy and abundance that is present in front of everyone at almost any given instant, no matter how hard it seems. I do have some challenges with losing a child. Having a parent bury one of their children, and there's of course there's abuse and rape, and there's all these situations that sound absolutely horrific and inhumane. And by and large, if it's caused by another individual, especially when we're talking about abuse or rape or something like that, it's nasty, it's heavy, right? But it also creates an opportunity for you to overcome something that you've never overcome before, and come out stronger and tougher than you were prior to the event that possibly crippled you for a moment's time. And I know this isn't the most ideal place for motivational speech and the audition for a TED Talks with my friend in Toronto, but I just finished having coffee with my realtor and talking about legal matters involved with this basically loss of $1 million house due to me trying to help people that were forced into the sex trade industry and in the drug making industry in Kelowna, British Columbia. And my realtor's looking at me with almost tears running down his eyes, and he's like, "Brother, you've got to share your story with the world, man." He's like, "I hate seeing you for the last 2 months because you have been getting some of the hardest hits that I've ever heard anyone get thrown at in my life. And yet, I love seeing you because you haven't had that smile knocked off your face. You haven't had that twinkle knocked out of your eye. And you engage me sitting in here." And he's like, "You got to share your message with the world, man." He's like, "I don't care if you do it by writing or if you do it by videos or if you do it by speaking or if you carry on with your Church of Now concept or if you offer consulting services or kind of a boot camp for professionals and executives." He's like, "I just left your place where you've got this 66-year-old homeless guy that you allowed to move in there because it was minus 20 degrees Celsius out, and you couldn't stand to see him suffer. And he said, here's a house, man. It's destroyed, it's trashed, and there's human excrement, there's needles all over the place, there's fentanyl in some of the places. Like, you got to be careful in here, but you know, it's got heat, and there's beds, there's blankets, there's clothes. I think some of the clothes are left, and you know, as long as you're careful and you don't kill yourself or overdose by stepping on something, my house is yours, man. Keys are on the barbecue. And this old guy is a little bit of an eccentric, and my realtor said, "Where'd you meet that guy? Like, that guy's lived a life of hard knocks." And I'm like, "Man, I was walking. It was cold. It was like -20, and I had to keep walking. Like, I didn't have a lot of clothes, and I didn't have any money, and I hadn't eaten any food, so my energy was low. And I knew, you know, hypothermia is one of those like blissful ways to die. Most people die forgetting where they go, and they get tired and confused, and they sit down by a tree or a building, and then the old body gets into saving the core, and next thing you know, the person's sitting there frozen dead with a smile on their face. And I could see the fatigue, and I could see that shutdown happening in this old guy, and I pretty much like drug him home to this place and threw him in front of the fireplace, and he laid with his head on a stone mantle and slept there for like 8 hours. Like, the old guy was just tired and drained, and I said, you know, I know the shelters are all full, and the system is really hard to navigate, and it's very bureaucratic, and it's top heavy, and now there's the whole vaccine mandate and everything, and you know, it's effective at helping people, of course, that's why they're all full, but you know, is it simply helping them put a band-aid on a cut that doesn't stop bleeding, or is it really teaching them how to stop the bleeding, or you know, leading the horse to water and giving it water, or teaching it how to drink, or giving them a fish, or teaching a village how to fish, kind of thing. And I see this continual band-aid type mentality on these problems that are plaguing our society here in North America, and I'm not seeing improvement in the metrics. I'm not seeing reductions in the numbers, and I'm not seeing reductions in the gravity of the situation. And this guy had been on the streets for quite some time, and I said, you know, man, if you want to help me out, like, I'm not in the best of health right now, and I've got some pretty bad people trying to kill me still, and they continually stop by the house to see if I'm here and swing an axe at my head, or pepper spray me, or try and run me down with a car, or you know, beat the shit out of me and get me in the hospital with stitches and concussions. That's not why I'm here now. I'm here for an entirely different reason, but I'd like you to have a home, man, and you know, you're getting older, buddy, and the streets ain't easy, and take care of this house like your own. And you know, if you have the energy and the ability and the desire to, you know, kind of help me clean it up, that'd be awesome, because it saved me like another 20 grand of losses, and maybe make a miracle happen out of nowhere. And my realtor came, and he brought me a pair of shoes, because I came to the hospital here in an ambulance with slippers on, and it's, you know, snowed I think 12 inches since the time I've been here. It's winter outside. It's hardcore winter. I'm like, you know, Chad, I said I think I'm gonna have to, you know, be here for a bit, but I'm getting a little stir crazy, and I kind of want some air, and I want to see some sunlight and get some sun on me, even though I'm in the penthouse suite of the hospital, and I'm not lying. I am like a corner unit. I've got nurses coming in saying, "Hey, can I take a picture out of your office?" and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, you know, Chad, I ran into this guy in Toronto about a month ago, you know, before I was homeless, or I guess it was just over a month before I was homeless, and had my ID stolen and my finances stolen, and you know, all my technology stolen. And I said, I got to do it. Like, let's pull this deal together. Let's see if we can put some change in my pocket, and if we can, you know, I'm gonna drop 10 grand on this guy and go all in, and I'm gonna do what I'm designed to do and put here to do. And what I'm put here to do was told to me on May 19th, 2019, as I was meditating down at Gyro Beach, one of the most beautiful beaches in Canada. And it was an amazing experience, one that I'll never forget. And it was the first time that I have been truly touched by what I guess you could say is an angel, or the creator, or God, or who knows what it is, but it, you know, it was almighty, and it took over my whole body. And I'll tell you just briefly what the message was and how the experience occurred to me. And it will be different for everyone, and how you get there and how you achieve that is different for everyone. But as I was doing a pineal gland meditation by using Joe Dispenza's work, I began to see, with my eyes closed, like very bright yet gentle and white yellow light, like just fill my vision of blackness. And then I felt convulsions and almost paralyzed throughout my whole body, and I panicked, and I was scared, and I couldn't scream, I couldn't move, and I was, freaking out, basically. And then when I breathed again and I relaxed, I realized it was a euphoric feeling. It was like I was being tickled gently from the inside out. And then the voice started talking. And the voice said, son, you're one of the few that have found your gift. And you've been using it all of your life. You've been a leader, you've been a lone wolf, you've been the voice for those that are scared to say their true thoughts for fear of ramifications. But what you've been doing is you've been selling. You've been selling your gift of fearlessness, of free thought, of creativity, of bravery, of empathy, of compassion, of equality, of output, of value, of hard work, of focusing on what I want and what I'm good at and what I like, and not focusing on my weaknesses. Outsourcing those, or focus on the things that get you jacked up and fired up, or living a fire-filled life, as Todd White says. And you've been doing it with such amazing results in just about every industry under the sun, whether it was truck driving, taxi driving, as a nurse, as an accountant, as a sales manager, as a educator, in pharmaceuticals, in fertilizer, in chemical sales, in drug dealing, in, anything. You have been lighting it up and blowing expectations out of the water. And you've always been hopping. Whether you were in one country or in a different geography, or even in a country where you didn't speak the language, and you're bringing these results. And after a couple of years, it became boring for you, because your sales and client retention rate was a 95% close rate and 100% retention rate. And it got boring. And then after you were bored, you shifted. And it told me, this is part of the reason for my arrogance and a lot of my abundance and my lack of gratitude for my abundance that I had. And it said, the reason your results have been this way is because you have been a salesperson that would never sell anything to anyone that you wouldn't buy yourself were you in that client's shoes. And you fully acknowledge that, the average person says no 7 times before they say yes, but if they say no to you on the 8th time, you're basically like, I'll buy the damn thing for you anyway, and you're going to thank me for it later. And pay me if you don't think it's worth it, or if it's, pay me if you think it's worth it. And that's been the way I operate. Under promise and over deliver. And, in whatever profession or industry I've been in, I've went in 110%. And I've become a master and a guru in that space. And if I didn't know, I'm the first person to say, I don't know, but I will find out for you, and I will get you the right information to make the right decision or the right choice in this particular situation. And it said, the hopping is your pain and your lack of success. And lack of success is a great word, because I had reached success in every person's eyes in my life, whether it was family, friends, colleagues, professional, personal associates. I climbed a ladder everywhere I went, but I was never successful in my own eyes. And here I am, having lost, and went from a net worth of over $4 million to less than 25 cents in my pocket, and living on the streets, barely clothed enough, and crying when I was given a bowl of rice for $2 and a glass of water that was given to me by angels, crying of gratitude. And I feel more successful now than I've ever felt in my entire life, because I'm walking to the path and the beat of my own drum, and I'm making my own road. And I've always been designed to make my own road. I've never followed the path of others. Look at my nails, for example. There's a story behind that, and it has to do with me making fun of my youngest boy, who came home from preschool with his nails painted sometimes and makeup on his face. And I'd be like, oh man, what are you doing? Are you a girl or what? And he'd like, no, Dad. He's like, but the girls that put it on me feel good when they do it, and that makes me feel good when they're happy. And I made fun of him, and I was wrong for that. And so I painted my nails for him, put on some eyeliner stuff, and gave him a video and said, "Hey, Alex, buddy, I was wrong, man. You were right, because you were making other people feel good. You were selling your gift, and your gift was kindness and empathy and understanding when people were in pain and when they needed to feel good, and you did that great." And so, what I want to close with in this, short video is that there is a gift within you that has, maybe been long since forgotten. And I challenge you to explore back in your early days. Maybe look at some photos, or if you can, or ask your parents if they're still around, or siblings. What did you love doing when you were like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old? Like, what was that thing that you had to get told to go to bed and you'd still sneak out of bed and go do it anyway? That thing that you loved practicing, whether you got compensation or recognition for it. And try to reincorporate that into your life, 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, and get back into that. Because if you're getting tapped into that, you're getting tapped really close into what your God-given gift is, if you want to use the word God, or your purpose, or your thing, that thing that fires you up. And it wouldn't surprise me if you do that for not too many days at all. Try 21, or pick, just do it. You're going to start to find that you're going to increase some fire in your life. You're going to get some passion in your life, and you're going to look forward to that 5 minute or 10 minutes of research into that previous hobby. And if you keep following that, I'm going to tell you that I can teach you how to make money out of thin air by doing that, by focusing on the passion, and then by focusing on value that you add to other people's lives through your passion. And when you start doing that, when you start doing something that you can't not do, don't worry about the money, because it's going to be following you in boatloads. You're going to need to build a bank behind you. And, though I have nothing right now, I'm richer than I've ever been before in my life. And what that voice told me that I'm here to do is that I'm here to continue selling. But I saw something that the voice told me is needed now more around the world than ever before. I sell hope. And I know that sounds a little corny, and as I've thought about this for the last 2 years, I realized that I actually don't sell hope, because that hope is within you. It's always been within you. It was within you before you heard the words can't or don't or impossible. It was within you when you were playing, cops and robbers, when you were really in it. You were in that space, when you could fly in your dreams, when anything that your mind could come up with was a possibility of real. And I simply sell the key to help you unlock that. And when you start doing that, I promise you I can teach you how to make money out of thin air. And I've done it myself, and I'm going to do it again. And you're looking at me now, with a future that some medical professionals, 3 of them that I've talked to today, look at me with sadness in their eyes and a little bit of bewilderment at my acceptance of it. And I say within, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, you're going to be looking at a guy that is living in joy and abundance and wealth as well. Because I'm going to start selling hope. And I'm going to sell hope around the world, because this virus that has captured the soul of the human race around the planet is a virus. We went through the Spanish influenza, the bubonic plague. We've went through viruses before. H1N1, SARS, like all of them. We've went through them. But never before have we had this interconnectivity, like access to data as declared by the World Health Organization as a basic human need. We've never had it so prominent. And what this connectivity has done has allowed fear to be injected. And fear is like a parasite, and it's a magnifying parasite. It continues to grow and exponentiate. And right now what we have is fear, anxiety, and uncertainty of the future. And with uncertainty and unknown, we have fear. And that manifests as anger or frustration. And I'm telling you right now, we're using this connectivity as the wrong way. We might be isolated, we might be on lockdown, we might not be allowed to travel, we might not be allowed to see our loved ones. I haven't seen my kids in 10 months now. what I'm telling you we can do right now with this tool, this basic human right of access to data, is we can collectively put our minds together and we can simply envision our own perfect utopia. A utopia where all souls live together, play together in a state of joy and abundance in a sustainable manner. And I'd like you to notice that I didn't say the word work there. Because work has that hierarchical kind of power mentality. But when you wake up like a warrior, when you are driven to do what you're doing and you gotta do it, you gotta go out there and practice. Maybe it's basketball and you know, before school, you go out on the driveway and you do 20 layups or you do 50 free throws and you get home and you do it before you go to bed and you can't stop doing it because that's your thing. No matter how tired you are, maybe you sprained your ankle or you hurt your thumb, you still go out there and you practice. Or you sit in the living room watching TV and you're spinning a basketball on your finger. You can't stop doing that because that's your thing. When you start doing that, you ain't working. And I want you to start to think about that industry or that thing, that passion, that thing that just grabs you. And I want you to start to follow those that are leaders in that space, that are influencers of your mind, of your content, and how you've put the amalgamation of their work into what it is that constitutes you and your role in that space or that industry. And you get there and I'm going to teach you how to make money out of thin air. I'm going to teach you that there's no such thing as the word impossible. And I'm going to teach you the other thing that's most important, which is having faith. Faith and belief, and that is of yourself. You know, so the Church of Now is a church, it's not a church, and it's a Bible, it's not a Bible. But God bless you. Hey, sorry, I shut that one off without a proper goodbye and a farewell, but, you know, the Church of Now, the concept I started in 1995 is based off the idea of a church that's not a church, based off Bibles that aren't Bibles. But it's guided by a practice, which is called journaling with intention. And it involves taking charge of your day before your day takes charge of you. You know, bullet journaling is one of those things that has been kept secret by doctors and lawyers as a way to, like, consume massive amounts of information and over diverse situations, yet still be really organized. But I've added the intention to it. And intention, you know, is one of those things that, as you've heard, could pave the road to hell. But when you reflect upon your activities of the week, you know, I challenge you to take 3 or 4 or 5 activities, behaviors that you actually did, your intentions that you used, and the behaviors you used to get towards your goals for that day. And I challenge you to ask yourself, were there, are there, or could there be any, or do any of the stakeholders impacted by that behavior have a potential negative feeling or vibration or experience as a result of my behaviors on the path towards my good intention? And if the answer is yes, and you still have that same goal or that same intention in a subsequent day, I challenge you to alter your behaviors so that you can have those intentions and those goals, those behaviors completed with no one having a potential negative experience or negative feeling towards your impact on their life. You know, it was best told to me or shared with me in the works of Robin Sharma, in which he said a story of a father talking to a son, and the father said, "Son, when you were born, you cried as the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a manner that when you die, the world cries as you rejoice." So get out there, and maybe you don't know your purpose yet. Maybe you haven't found it, or you're a little lost. But whatever you do, I challenge you that every person that you come across, see if you can make them feel better. Maybe it's a wink. Maybe it's look the other way. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's a compliment. Maybe it's opening a door. Maybe it's letting them buy you a coffee. But another quote, and I'm not sure who said this one, so it's not my words, it's just something I've read, but think of the idea that no one's really going to remember what you say or did not say, what you do or did not do, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And if you live your life in a manner so that every person that you have touched or impacted or has been impacted by your product or your service or your beliefs, your behaviors, whatever it is that you've left as a legacy on this planet, has a positive feeling of that experience with you, I don't care what religion you are a part of. I think you're doing the right thing and you're going to be all good. God bless y'all, whether that God is Allah, Buddha, Waheguru, or any of the deities of this world or the next world or Mother Earth. you know, belief is what you need. See, I got interrupted again there. I hit pause, but I just want to show you angels out of nowhere. Crackers and some peanut butter, some cheese, and some yogurt. Coming out of the hands of angels. And, you know, for those of you, and I used to be one of them, who absolutely hated hospital food, go hungry for a week. Go hungry for 2 weeks. Go hungry for a couple months. And then try some of this. Chew it slowly. And savor it and enjoy it. And be gracious for every single thing you have, because the world is so much better with gratitude. Be kind to you. Learn how to forgive yourself. So when you forgive yourself, you can love yourself. And when you learn to love yourself, that allows you to let the love in that is sitting there waiting to come in and fill you with abundance and joy. And that allows you to love others. God bless you all, and I hope you vibrate better just by watching this.